Hi, I'm Anjali Patel, a lead advisory teacher for CLPE, and this is my book recommendation for today. In fact, I'm cheating and I've got two book recommendations for today because I don't think I could talk about one without the other, and I don't think Daisy Hirst would thank me for not talking about one without the other. They're completely linked. If you haven't met Natalie and Alphonse yet, I think you need to get these books and meet them as soon as you can, and especially if you are living with or working with young children. This, as far as I'm concerned, is absolutely essential reading for any parent and any practitioner who spends any time with young children. Our whole purpose at CLPE, our core values, is that every child is entitled to be literate, and every child is entitled to be literate through having access to high quality texts such as this. And Natalie and Alphonse are a really amazing example of what that might look like. I've chosen Alphonse, There's Mud on the Ceiling, for our early years developing writing day course, but we also draw on I Do Not Like Books Anymore fairly regularly to remind teachers and to discuss with teachers why a wide range of reading opportunities are so valuable and why high quality texts are as well. In Alphonse, There's Mud on the Ceiling, we start with Always Wonderful End Papers by Daisy Hirst. We start with Natalie and Alphonse engaging in one of their favourite activities, their painting. We don't know where it is yet. There's some intrigue around the door, what could be behind the door. And then as we move on through, we get some glimpses into their little world. Natalie and Alphonse live in a flat. They had a double-decker bed to drive and the big green chair to be quiet behind, or leap out from roaring. There were sunflowers to water on the balcony, almost enough space for roly-polies in the hall, and a cupboard which seemed to click and roar. It could be lions or bears or the Hoover. Even just the start of this book provides us with enough information about these characters to imagine the kind of life they lead, the kind of family that they enjoy. They live in a flat. They live in a flat that gives them almost enough space for roly-polies, and they live in a flat on the 7th floor. I live in a flat with my two children. I don't live in the 7th floor, I live in the 2nd floor, but we are surrounded by flats. And what this book has done for me and my children is help them understand and give them a sense of themselves in the books that they're reading. And we talk about that a lot at CLPE. Can children see their own lives reflected in the books that they're reading? It gives great value to the lives that they lead when they are not with you at school. And this book is absolutely perfect for that. It's a really wonderful book with which children can relate. But what it also does is, as Daisy does so beautifully, is allow us to really reflect on the provision that we give for children. And in the writing course, what we do is really think about the role that painting plays in story making and what that means for children's writing as they're making stories with paint and mark making all the time. The way that they can engage in story making through small worlds, through using loose parts, and through using everything around them to inspire them to make stories. But this doesn't come from nowhere. Children don't just fetch some jungle, as Alphonse does here. Children have been shown by adults and experienced people around them that a sunflower is the jungle. It can't just not just be a jungle, it is the jungle. And where does all that come from? And why have I cheated by having both books? It comes from the love of story. It comes from them liking books and stories and having adults that read stories to them, that tell stories to them. It comes from an environment in which they're able to make stories at all parts of the day, in everything that they're doing. And it comes from being surrounded by literate people. And this is a wonderful illustration in I Do Not Like Books Anymore to demonstrate the impact of children seeing people that are literate around them. We know that impacts on children's life chances very dramatically, and we want to make sure that we give every single child in our classroom the very best start in life, as Natalie and Alphonse have, even in the 7th floor of their little flat, as my children also have that very similar experience. And if they can't get that at home, then we want to make sure that we give them that provision at school. We read them stories, we tell them stories, we make stories with them, and we make it out of everything. Writing happens everywhere. There's every moment's a teachable moment, and I think Daisy Hirst just brings that alive through the world of Natalie and Alphonse. Wonderful books. Go out and get them in your classrooms.